Did you know there are 5 Harley-Davidson motorcycles connected to the Hells Angels that are so rare, so valuable, and so protected that they've become completely untouchable? We're talking about machines worth more than most people's houses, bikes that have survived FBI raids, and motorcycles so legendary that even museums can't get their hands on them. But here's the crazy part. One of these bikes is literally buried 6 feet underground. Another survived a 13-year legal battle that cost millions. And there's one Harley that's so rare, only 41 were ever made. And it's now worth more than a Lamborghini. We spent weeks digging through FBI documents, auction records, and court cases to bring you this story. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why these 5 motorcycles represent the ultimate intersection of American rebellion, criminal enterprise, and automotive legend. The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club isn't just about riding motorcycles, it's about riding the right motorcycles. Since 1948, every member has been required to ride a Harley-Davidson. Not a Honda, not a BMW, not even a Ducati. Only American iron will do. But here's what most people don't know. This requirement has created some of the most valuable and untouchable motorcycles in history. We're talking about bikes that have been seized by the DEA, fought over in Supreme Court cases, and hidden from law enforcement for decades. Today, I'm revealing the 5 most untouchable Harleys in Hells Angels history. These aren't just motorcycles. They're pieces of American criminal folklore that tell the story of rebellion, wealth, and the lengths people will go to protect what they love. Number 5, the Kingpin's Mount, the 1993 Harley that became evidence. Let's start with a bike that went from the streets to a museum, but not the kind of museum you'd expect. In 1996, the DEA concluded Operation MET, an 18-month investigation into the Salem, Massachusetts chapter of the Hells Angels. This wasn't just any chapter. It was one of the East Coast's largest and most profitable operations, moving cocaine and methamphetamine across New England. When the raids went down in September 1996, agents hit 15 addresses simultaneously and arrested 16 Hells Angels members and associates. But among all the evidence seized, one item stood out: a pristine 1993 Harley-Davidson, confiscated directly from the chapter president. Here's what made this bike special. It wasn't just expensive, it was purchased entirely with drug money. Court documents proved that this motorcycle represented the direct conversion of criminal proceeds into a luxury asset. The bike became forensic evidence of how the organization laundered money through high-end purchases. But here's the twist. This Harley didn't get sold at auction like most seized assets. Instead, it became permanently housed in the DEA Museum collection, where it remains today. Its value to the government as an educational tool and symbol of law enforcement, victory far exceeds any potential auction price. This bike is untouchable because it's been transformed from a criminal's ride into a permanent reminder of justice served. You can't buy it, you can't steal it, and you can't even touch it without special permission. Number 4, the evidentiary weapon, motorcycles that prove gang status. Moving to number 4, we have an entire category of Harleys that are untouchable for a completely different reason. They're too valuable as evidence to ever be released. In California, prosecutors use something called the Criminal Street Gang Enhancement under Penal Code Section 186.22. If they can prove you're part of a criminal organization, your sentence can be dramatically increased. But proving gang membership requires what's called indicia evidence, symbols and property that confirm your affiliation. During these investigations, law enforcement conducts massive sweeps, seizing literally truckloads of personal property. And what do they find? Numerous expensive Harley-Davidson motorcycles, each one customized with club colors, patches, and modifications that scream Hells Angels. These bikes aren't seized for their market value. They're seized because their expense and customization prove the owner's high status within a criminal enterprise. A $30,000 custom Harley with club insignia is worth more to prosecutors than gold because it can add years to a prison sentence. The most notorious example involves motorcycles linked to Maurice Boucher, the convicted murderer and former president of the Quebec Nomads chapter. While specific bikes may not be publicly tracked, The state's victory involves removing these assets and eliminating the visual evidence of criminal power. These motorcycles are untouchable because they're locked away in evidence rooms, waiting to testify in courtrooms across America. Number 3, the mythical Founder's Iron. The 1936 to 1947 Knucklehead. Now we're getting into the really rare stuff. Number 3 takes us back to the very beginning of the Hells Angels, to a motorcycle that represents the pure original spirit of American rebellion. The Harley-Davidson EL Knucklehead, produced between 1936 and 1947, gets its name from the distinctive, fist-like shape of its rocker box covers. But here's what makes this bike legendary. The Hells Angels were officially founded in 1948, which means the Knucklehead was the dominant high-performance machine ridden by the club's earliest members. These were the bikes ridden by World War II veterans who came home and wanted to keep the brotherhood and adrenaline alive. They were simple, mechanical, and required riders to be their own mechanics. This do-it-yourself ethos became part of the club's DNA. Any authentic, restored Knucklehead from this pre-1948 era is exceptionally scarce. We're talking about motorcycles that survived the Great Depression and World War II. Today, period-correct examples easily reach $100,000 to $150,000, even without specific criminal provenance. But here's what makes certain Knuckleheads truly untouchable: their historical purity. Unlike later models that were demonstrably purchased with drug money, the Founder's Knuckleheads likely represented legitimate personal property acquired during the post-war economic boom. If you could find a documented Knucklehead that belonged to one of the original Fontana or Oakland charter members, you'd be looking at a nearly irreplaceable cultural artifact. These bikes are untouchable because they represent the moment when American motorcycle culture was born. Number 2, the legally contested inventory. Motorcycles protected by million-dollar legal battles. Number 2 brings us to perhaps the most expensive way to make a motorcycle untouchable. Hire an army of lawyers and fight the government for over a decade. In British Columbia, Canada, the Hells Angels engaged in an epic 13-year legal battle against the civil forfeiture of 3 clubhouses. This wasn't just about real estate. These clubhouses served as secure fortresses for storing high-value club-owned assets and members' private motorcycles. The organization initially won a decision in the Supreme Court in 2020, temporarily blocking the seizure. For several years, court orders provided a legal shield protecting all contents, including valuable motorcycles, from seizure and auction. During this period of prolonged litigation, any high-value, rare, or customized Harleys stored in those clubhouses became legally untouchable. The HAMC used corporate resources to make asset seizure so costly in terms of time and government expenditure that the motorcycles were practically immune to rapid forfeiture. While the Court of Appeal later overturned the decision, the legal defense mechanism achieved its goal. The motorcycles that survived years of legal deadlock, either by remaining secured within the defended clubhouses or by being successfully transferred out of jurisdiction before final seizure, represent the pinnacle of legal untouchability. This category also includes assets that high-ranking members successfully concealed or transferred before their inevitable incarceration. The sophisticated legal defense infrastructure proves that the organization possesses massive, sustainable revenue required to finance decades of legal counterattacks. These bikes are untouchable because they're protected by the most expensive legal shield money can buy. Number 1, the iconic custom build. The Panhead chopper worth more than your house. And now the number 1 most untouchable Harley in Hells Angels history, the highly valuable customized Panhead chopper that represents the absolute pinnacle of outlaw motorcycle culture. The Harley-Davidson Panhead, produced from 1948 to 1965, directly overlapped with the HAMC's explosive growth and the creation of their visual identity. The Panhead engine became the preferred platform for the classic outlaw chopper, a stripped-down, customized machine built for speed and rebellion. But we're not talking about just any Panhead chopper. We're talking about bikes with verifiable direct provenance to founding HAMC figures, particularly those who appeared in media or were instrumental in the club's growth. The expense associated with these bikes is staggering. A 1959 Harley-Davidson FL was custom-built by Creator Custom Cycles to mirror the motorcycle ridden by real Hells Angels member John Terrence Tracy, known as Terry the Tramp, in the 1969 film Hells Angels '69. This specific recreation required extensive and expensive rebuild work on a 74 cubic inch V-twin engine and 4-speed transmission. The highest confirmed auction sale for a chopper embodying the outlaw spirit is the Easy Rider Harley-Davidson, which sold for $1.35 million. While that was a fictional prop, it proves the value generated by associating a customized V-twin with the counterculture movement pioneered by the HAMC. Here's the mind-blowing part. An authentic Panhead chopper with verifiable direct provenance to a founding HAMC figure would logically achieve or exceed the 7-figure mark. We're talking about motorcycles that appeared in films like Hells Angels '69, granting them cultural immortality and preventing typical depreciation. These machines are untouchable because they represent the perfect storm of historical significance, cultural impact, and astronomical value. They're not just motorcycles, they're rolling pieces of American rebellion that can never be replicated. So there you have it, the 5 most untouchable Harleys in Hells Angels history. From the DEA's trophy in their museum to the million-dollar legal battles protecting entire collections, these motorcycles represent something far beyond transportation. They're symbols of American rebellion, criminal enterprise, and the lengths people will go to protect their most prized possessions. Whether buried 6 feet underground, locked in evidence rooms, or protected by armies of lawyers, these bikes have achieved a level of untouchability that most people can only dream of. But here's what's really fascinating. Every single one of these motorcycles started as a simple requirement: Hells Angels members must ride Harley-Davidsons. That one rule, established in 1948, has created some of the most valuable and protected motorcycles in history. The next time you see a Harley-Davidson rolling down the highway, remember, you might be looking at the next untouchable legend in the making. But wait, there's something I didn't tell you at the start of this video. Everything I just showed you about these untouchable Harleys is completely useless if you don't understand the full story of how the Hells Angels built their motorcycle empire in the first place. That's why you need to watch this video right here, where I reveal the secret history of how a small group of World War II veterans turned a simple motorcycle requirement into a multi-million-dollar criminal enterprise. Trust me, after watching that, you'll never look at a Harley-Davidson the same way again. Click that video now, and I'll see you on the other side.